coolest birthday party in town. Host your birthday bash in group spaces or with a private ice rental. Public skating at the York Ice Arena is available afternoons, evenings, and weekends. Skate for just $7 and rent your skates for just $3. Plus, you can save with discount passbooks. Oh, and ask about gift cards and kids' prepaid debit cards. So if you're looking to learn something cool, come to the coolest place in town and learn to skate at the York Ice Arena. For more information and to register, go to yorkskate.com.
Your home for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, York.
Is available afternoons.
I'm Deb Carson as the Broncos and Patriots prepare to kick off in the AFC Championship.
Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios.
This is York's local sports show, talking local sports on York's local sports station. Welcome to Game Day with GameTime PA on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Hello, Teddy Feinberg here with Zach Miller. Welcoming you to another edition of Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. We run on 1350 WOYK actually from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on our GameTimePA.com live stream 4 to 5 p.m. Every Thursday we bring you the latest and greatest from YAIAA Sports. This is no different. And Zach, I would be remiss if I didn't start the program by just asking you, how are you doing on this fine Thursday?
I'm doing great, Teddy. How are you doing? Are you ready for the snow coming up?
That's a valid question, actually. I think, from a personal, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to attack it full bore. Last year at this time, obviously coming from the Southwest, the snow was kind of a foreign territory for me. But
yeah, me too, coming from Florida. I came in, it was 0 degrees when I moved here and snow everywhere.
It was a big adjustment. But no, this year though, I've never been more ready before. I feel like
It's been a while. We've had a lot of time to prepare.
And it's funny because I looked at actually the report for January, and it's payback time because there's a lot of snow rain mixtures, and tomorrow Saturday looks like full on snow. But I'm ready to rock and roll, and obviously it really affects a lot of sports schedules, a lot of basketball games that were scheduled for Friday night to move to Thursday, and I would imagine Saturday's slate will be essentially wiped out entirely.
Yeah, all the games
the
of the
forecast just doesn't come to fruition.
Yeah, the York Adams versus Big Ten basketball tournament has been canceled or postponed. I know the games on Saturday are not going to be played out in Gettysburg.
Yeah, well, there you have it. And obviously tonight, I know the William Penn Spring Grove game, which is a big boys basketball game, has been moved to tonight. That's
there's been a few of those, a few games today that were originally scheduled for tomorrow. But, teams are finding a way to get them in. There's a few others. Tomorrow they're going to start earlier than scheduled. So, schools are finding ways to get them in.
Game balls. Just point of order, Brandon Stoneberg is joining us in about 5 minutes. He's running a little late to the program. Game balls, do you have any?
I do, and we're going to touch on this more later. But really this game ball is for everybody involved in the Spring Grove Southwestern girls basketball game yesterday. There was a nice moment early in the game where Lauren Gow, who tore her ACL during soccer season, got a chance to score a basket on senior night for Southwestern. Kind of something the two coaches agreed upon doing at the beginning of the game. Just a nice gesture for a girl who's worked hard and had a lot of success and wasn't able to play her senior season. But like I said, we'll get into that more later. And I also, this is going a couple weeks back, but I did want to give a game ball to the Littlestown girls kind of turning things around and having their best season in a long time. They flew under the radar a little bit. They haven't been talked about a whole lot, but they're really playing some good basketball. Not on the level of Delone Catholic and York Catholic in that division, but they're playing good defense, really doing a good job of moving their feet. Playing a real offense. Cutting it. It's real serious basketball, and they're doing it with a 9-person team.
Well, no, I mean, the way you describe it, it's like the fact they're running an offense. I mean, it sounded astonishing in your mind.
Well, it's just very crisp and well done.
They're running an offense.
They're playing defense. They're running offense.
They're cutting. They're actually playing basketball. That's crazy.
It's good basketball. It's fun to watch basketball, and they're trying to make a push for districts. But I wanted to give them a game ball last week. I wasn't here, so that's kind of a retroactive game ball.
I hear. I'll tell you, there's nothing better than the retroactive game ball. I am going to go. I'm actually going to hand it out to a team as well. The Eastern York boys basketball has won 10 straight games going into last night's game against Northeastern. They lost to a very good Northeastern team, 71-69, but they played very tough. So yeah, I wanted to give them my game ball for sure, and big props to them. I don't know, coming into the year, I think we thought they'd be a good team. Obviously, Brogan Nicholas back; he's a first-rate scorer. But 10 straight wins is 10 straight wins. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, They're having a good season. I know they beat Gettysburg pretty good a couple of weeks ago, and we thought that game was going to be a close game. We didn't know which way it was going to go, and Eastern York ran them out of the gym. So they're obviously having a really good season.
They're having a really good season. So big ups to them. So anyway, Brandon wrote this story the other day that appeared on our website in today's YDR and Hanover Evening Sun pertaining to basketball uniforms. And I mean, I must say this is incredibly silly to me. I
agree. I don't fully understand it. And I wish we could bring an athlete in here and have them explain why they like to roll their shorts.
For the listeners out there, is it just the YAIAA has banned this, or is this
Well, according to Brandon's story, this is a rule that has been in place, and I guess I don't know if it's just in this area or maybe it's statewide. I'm not entirely positive. We'll ask Brandon when he gets in here, but they're starting to enforce it more heavily. The referees are, and I didn't realize how many players did this until recently, which I guess is why the referees are enforcing it.
Yeah, this was complete. I think that was really the news for me, was that players actually did this.
Yeah, and I guess I've noticed I never really I don't know. It didn't seem like a big deal to me. I just kind of didn't.
It's
care.
not
Right. But I also don't really get why they do it.
I don't think they even know why.
My reaction was, why not just get shorts that fit? If you have to roll your shorts to make them fit, how about you just get new shorts that fit?
I think a lot of this, and I mean, let's be honest. I mean, let's just bring it back a couple weeks when you did a story on the leg sleeves.
Yeah.
I think fashion in sports is important for athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this right now. No basketball player wore an armband until Allen Iverson started doing it.
That's true.
The Sixers playoff run in 2001, he led them to the NBA Finals. He had bone spurs in his elbow. He had a bad injury. He started wearing an armband. He hit a 3 over Tyronn Lue. He walked over Tyronn Lue. AI was all the rage. And then the next thing you knew, every player, pro, college, and high school, wears an armband now. This is a fashion thing. I must say, though, that the thing with the shorts, so essentially high school basketball players are not, they would take their waistband and flip it over.
Right.
So essentially they would almost double up on the waistband. The local basketball officials have come out and said, no, you can't do this anymore. This, essentially, in my mind, they're doing it, again, that old saying, look good, feel good, play good, essentially pay good. This was a Deion Sanders saying.
Right.
But that's what this is. It's about feeling good when you're on the court, looking good, feeling good, playing good.
Yeah, and I didn't realize a lot of players do it, and they untuck their shirts enough that they can kind of then take the excess shirt and cover it so that nobody notices. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
No.
This is what some kids are doing. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it more. They're kind of folding their shirt now over the part of the pants that isn't supposed to be showing, which is that inside strap, because apparently there's another logo in there is the issue. You have to read Brandon's story to really understand what the deal is. I mean, it doesn't make sense really to me either, but there is at least a reason that the official Brandon talked to at least was able to give him.
It's strange. It's a little odd. Do you agree with me, though? I mean, in terms of even the leg sleeve issue, it's more of a fashion thing. It's more, I mean, you did a story on that as well.
Yeah, I did the story. I think for the guys, it was a little more of a fashion thing.
But I know, I actually even brought it up to you on the radio, and I got verbally attacked by you and even Brandon yesterday. People are like, Ted, this is legitimate. And I'm like, God, it's a fashion statement. And Brandon told me to take a hike.
As far as the sleeves?
Yeah.
Well, I think for the girls, what I found out was they're wearing the sleeves that have the knee pads, and from what I'm told, girls were getting a lot of bruises, and around their knees playing basketball, and so this is helping them not get bruises, essentially. So I don't know if it's a complete style thing. Maybe it is a little bit because it's got the compression and, it kind of looks cool, I guess. But, I think for the guys, it might be a little more of a fashion statement. Like they don't need the padding as much.
Well, Jordan Klosser, I thought, actually brought up a good point in Brandon's story. She said, if you're diving on the floor for loose balls,
right, exactly.
It can kind of eliminate.
Yeah, the way Southwestern's girls coach put it to me was that his girls used to have bruises on top of bruises. And now with these knee pads, it's not so bad.
Okay, well, I'm a little baffled by the whole thing. But I'll say right now, just wear the uniform and wear it the way they need you to wear it and just play well no matter how you have to wear it.
Yeah, I mean, I figure most of these kids probably played without rolling their shorts for several years.
I would
just
think.
Just kind of kick it back into 2013 and start doing that again.
One would hope. Well, that does it on the uniform fashion statement. We will fold Brandon into this conversation again.
I'm sure
later.
he'll have plenty to say about it when he gets here.
I think he's going to. So we'll definitely fold him into that conversation a bit more.
Athletes of the week?
Well, I don't have them handy right now.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. Thank you, Zach.
Sorry about that.
But we will return for segment 2 of our program. We are going to talk YAIAA boys basketball, handful of topics. We're going to preview the Spring Grove York High game tonight. We're going to look back at Eastern York Northeastern boys hoops. We're going to look at Central York already having a share of the D1 title already. So we will be back for segment 2. Brandon just walked in the building. He will join us as well. We're going to have a full house, a full deck, and we are ready to rock and roll. We'll be back.
It's a beat the snow battle with big implications for both the league and district playoffs. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me as York High travels to Papertown to take on Spring Grove. Both teams are looking to lock up spots in the county playoffs and improve their standings in the District 3 Quad A bracket. Plus, the Bearcats are looking for payback for Spring Grove's win in the Bearcats' den earlier this season. Spring Grove at York High tonight on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, your home for local sports.
Welcome to WOYK's high school basketball scoreboard for games from Wednesday, January 20th. We start with Northeastern at Eastern. Tony Nello has the report.
Northeastern Bobcats defeated the Eastern York Golden Knights 71-69. The Bobcats hit 10 three-pointers, 8 of which came in the first half. Eastern hit 9 threes of their own. Hitting 6 of those threes for Eastern was Evan Springer, who ended the game with 20 points, 14 of which came in the fourth quarter. For Northeastern, Donovan Maxfield hit 5 threes in the first half on 6 attempts. Leading all scorers was Eastern's Brogan Nicholas, who had 21. Fred Mulba led Northeastern with 19. Down 2 with 20 seconds left, Mulba stole the ball from Nicholas, giving the Bobcats a chance to end the game on free throws. They ended up missing both of them, but the Knights missed the 3 to win the game. Reporting for Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, I'm Tony Nello.
Dover visited West York. Cade Burdett reports.
Tonight's rivalry matchup between the Dover Eagles and West York Bulldogs was a heated one in the doghouse tonight. Student sections were going at it, and so were the teams. West York was looking for revenge on the early loss to Dover this season, and that's what they got. Ken Eckley got it going early for the Bulldogs, shooting 5 for 7 from the field. The West York faithful praised the hustle from Eckley, and he ended as West York's leading scorer with 20. And McCauley also added 19, shooting 3 for 4 from three-point range. For Dover, Najah Fink did all of the work and had 26 points with 11 rebounds. The Bulldogs would win by a final score 64-50. Reporting Sports Radio 1350 WOIK, I'm Cade Burdett.
Central clinched at least a share of the Division I title with a 52-49 win at Dallastown. Nathan Markey led with 19 as Central improved to 10-0 in league play. Susquehannock won 44-43 at Suburban. Josh Stoneberg had 15, including 4 threes. Eli Brooks netted 24, and Darren Gordon scored 17 as Spring Grove topped Southwestern 62-44. Trey Shiflett's 23 led York High to an 80-68 win over New Oxford. York Catholic rolled York Tech 70-36. Kyle Kraut scored 20 as Hanover beat DeLone 58-50. That's your scoreboard for games from Wednesday, January 20th.
People's Bank is happy to announce that you can now find our name in an exciting new place. The home of the York Revolution is now People's Bank Park. People's Bank has been serving York County for more than 150 years, committed to making it a great place to live, work, and play. That commitment continues at People's Bank Park with Revs games, concert events, youth sports, and more. We're proud to partner with the York Revolution, and we look forward to seeing you at People's Bank Park. People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sports Radio 1350 WOIK honors the Shipley Energy Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's Shipley Energy Boys Student Athlete of the Week is Victor Lopez of Biglerville Wrestling. Lopez got one of 6 pins in Biglerville's 63-12 victory over York County Tech on Thursday. His was the quickest of the night, pinning Tech's George Ellenberger in 27 seconds at 220 pounds. And this week's Shipley Energy Girls Student Athlete of the Week is Taylor Funk of Red Lion Basketball. Funk finished with 12 points in Red Lion's 49-33 win over Dallastown on Friday. She scored 10 points in the first quarter alone, helping her team jump out to the early lead and never look back. For Sports Radio 1350 WOIK, I'm Ray Jensen.
Get your home ready for fall and winter and sign up for the Shipley Energy Protection Plan. For more information, visit shipleyenergy.com.
At Northwestern Mutual, we take a disciplined and balanced approach to financial planning. Together, we'll help build your financial future on time-tested principles, not market trends, so you can take advantage of life's opportunities. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on a square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Red Lion Boys basketball coach Steve Schmale. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOIK, first in York, first in sports.
We're back. Game day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350 WOIK. Teddy Feinberg, Zach Miller, Brandon Stoneberg. You can watch us on our live stream on GameTimePA.com. You can listen to us on the radio from 6 to 7 on WOIK 1350, or you can do both. We're here every single Thursday at those times talking about YAIAA high school basketball. But I think
today is Thursday. That's why we're talking
Thursday.
Right now.
I have to get this out. So we're going to hop into the boys basketball scene here in 2 seconds. But Brandon joined us. He missed the first segment, and this is an all-time classic story. So Brandon apparently woke up today. He took a shower. He brushed his teeth. He ate his eggs and bagel. He did his thing. And he even came to work at 3:30 today. The reason he was late, because all day he's been under the assumption that today was Friday. Brandon, why don't you talk about that a little bit? Because I find he moved to a new apartment today.
Yeah, I rushed and moved all my stuff into the new place because I thought, man, if today's Friday, the snow's coming tomorrow. I don't want to move in the snow.
Well,
I gotta get it done
strategically,
today.
That's a great call.
So I was running.
If it was Friday.
So I was running around all day, moving stuff between apartments, not thinking about Thursday or Friday or radio show. And in my mind, I'm thinking William Penn versus Spring Grove tonight. That's a Friday night game. It's Friday for sure. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, it's today's Friday. It's nothing.
You did your Friday thing.
I did my Friday thing. So then 3:30 comes around. I go to the office. I'm like, oh man, nice. I'm early. No one's here yet. But all right, whatever. I just start getting ready for my new assignment because I'm not covering a game now. Start responding to emails. Start doing some research. 3:54 comes around. I see a tweet on Twitter from Zach. Be like, oh, I'm going to a radio show with Brandon and Teddy. I was like, wait, what's he talking about? We don't have a radio show today. And then I turn around to Andy. I was like, is today Thursday? And he's like, yeah. I was wondering why you weren't on a radio show. So basically, then that was 3:56. I ran out of the YDR office and hauled, went really fast.
Brilliant plan, great execution, set everything up really well if it was Friday.
Yeah, so now I'm a day behind too. So now I'm even more bummed that there's still 2 days left of the week.
everything was.
I was really thinking snow tonight. I was like, man, I can't wait for the snow to come. I was like, it's still sunny. Like, this is weird.
Well, I was saying it would have been great if you walked outside tonight and it was 9 and it wasn't snowing. You were just baffled.
Like, man, what a bust! I thought it was going to snow. I guess we're getting nothing.
This is unreal. I actually could have moved tomorrow.
Right. So I guess my move's ahead of schedule. Everything else is frazzled today.
You know what? At least that's taken care of, because if there's one thing that really kind of is like, just a general hassle, it's moving.
Oh yeah, I'm so tired of doing it. I've done it so many times in the past. Like,
so what area are you moving to? Actually, we know
just same area I'm in now. Still up in Central School District.
Gotcha. Okay.
But speaking of that game,
a good segue, because the William Penn Spring Grove game is tonight, and Brandon actually was slated to go to that, although it looks like he's going to go to the William Penn school board meeting. And said we'll hop into that later on in the program, but we're going to talk about the Spring Grove William Penn hoops game tonight, which figures to be a big game. Obviously, Central in the driver's seat, I guess you could say, in that division. They've done what they've had to do in YAIA Division One, but not far behind them. Central's undefeated in Division play. Spring Grove and William Penn are obviously both 7-2, and they have a big one tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like an elimination game for those two. The loser's kind of out of the division. We're still very much in the district race, but out of the division race. When they met earlier this year, Spring Grove won in overtime by 10 at York High. First time Spring Grove has beaten York High since 2003. 26 straight games York High beat them, which is an insane winning streak. But yeah, this one should be a good one. There's potential milestones might happen tonight or later this week, early next week. Trey Shiflett for William Penn is 27 points shy of 1,000 for his career. Montreal Morgan is, I think he's in the 30 to 40 range now, of breaking the whole.
There's a lot of 1,000-point scorers, I feel like, this year.
Morgan hit 1,000 a year or two ago, but now he's within range of breaking the school's record at York High. He transferred midway, but his career points would put him in number one in York High history, ahead of his cousin, Kelvin Parker, who broke it 2008, 2009 time period.
We can get into this debate at another time, but is it a school record if 2 of the years he was at a different school?
They're saying it is, so I'm going with what York High is saying, and they're ready to give it to him if he breaks it here, which we assume he will in the next game or two.
As you can tell, I have a kind of a bird in my saddle about this.
I think there will be some people that kind of put an asterisk next to it, because he did 2 years at New Hope, I believe it was. So that's just, you're playing single A and double A talent, racking up points, and then his numbers kind of went down when he got into more of a balanced offense at York High.
Well, if a player plays for the Detroit Pistons and then he goes to the Boston Celtics after 4 or 5 years in the league, and then he sets his career scoring records at a certain spot.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Celtic scoring record? No.
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
All right, well, Zach and Teddy are not on the York High bandwagon tonight, as we can see, but the game should be a good one.
It is going to be a good one, and I'm a Morgan.
We're journalists, and we like to be accurate, and we're noting that this is not a school record in the traditional sense.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
In college, they do the same thing. Like, Des Wells transferred from Xavier, Maryland after his first year, and then he still ranks 10th or whatever on Maryland's all-time list. They don't put him on some kind of combined Xavier-Maryland list.
No.
So he's on the list of the school you end up at. That's where you...
With the points included from his
With the points included, yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. The way I was thinking of it, too, is like if a player gets his 3,000th hit in baseball but didn't necessarily do it with one team, you still honor him for getting to that mark.
I'm not questioning the accomplishment.
Right. So he still deserves recognition for doing that.
I mean, when we said that Montreal scored his 1,000th point, I didn't debate that issue.
That's right, exactly. That's more. I guess that's more comparable.
And if you don't put him at the top of York High's charts, then where do you put him? Because he still has 1,400 points that have to go somewhere. That's the record somewhere. You can't say retrospect he's New Hope's if New Hope's not even around. You know what I mean?
Then maybe they should change the language.
All right. Anyway, the game should be pretty. The game should be a pretty solid one. You got Eli Brooks, the top scorer. You got Darren Gordon, recently committed to York College, going up against Shiflett, Morgan, Johnson. York High's actually back on the roll now. They've turned things around. They blew out York Catholic, which is a good win for them.
Yes. There's no debating that it's going to be a great game. There's no debating that he's a good player. There's no debating that the him and Brooks matchup is very intriguing, and there's no debating that York High is definitely playing a lot better.
Yes. Another team playing very, very well right now. 2 teams actually, Northeastern and Eastern York. 6-game winning streak coming in last night for Northeastern. 10-game winning streak coming in last night for Eastern. They met in a thriller. I was out there at Eastern. Eastern actually has a very underrated atmosphere for a basketball game. It was a lot of fun.
They're underrated, period.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, just from the 30,000-foot view, you guys are in I always say you guys are in the trenches, right? Like, to step back, I'm in the 10. I mean, I started reading leading up to the game, like, they have 10 straight wins. I mean, that's a lot of W's in a row, and good for them.
And there were some good wins in there. They beat a bunch of Division I teams in there. They beat some out-of-area teams in that win streak. I mean, it was...
It wasn't a bunch of cupcakes.
No, it wasn't a bunch of cupcakes. I mean, their last loss before this was a 20-point loss to Northeastern early in the season, and so they kind of had this one circled as a revenge game. And They went up early. The place was fired up. Someone tweeted at me during the game, who's the best student section you've seen all year? And I said, Central, Red Line, Northeastern. And I got to throw Eastern in there now, too, because they were crazy. They were a huge student section, all decked out in neon colors, going crazy after every bucket. The team went down by 10. They were still going nuts.
It's cool just to cover game. You know what I mean? It's cool to cover games in that atmosphere, I was thinking about that today, actually. I was looking at some pro sports stuff. I'm like, how much better is it when like the arena is just full? Like even the players have an extra bounce.
It makes a huge difference. And then conversely, when we're at a game where it might be a really close game, really good game, but there's like nobody there, it just doesn't seem as exciting.
It even affects the dudes or the girls on the floor. You know what I mean? Like everyone has extra electricity. You know, it's contagious.
They were feeling it. The coaches were going crazy, and they were jumping up and down after every play.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so Northeastern starts off slow. Eastern takes an early lead, gets a crowd into it. Northeastern storms back. They take a big lead. So Eastern ends up being down by 12 in the third quarter, and then they catch fire. Brogan Nicholas, one of the best scorers in the league, scores 12 straight for Eastern, brings them within 6 or 7. And then Evan Springer, who I hadn't heard much about all year, all of a sudden catches fire. He hits four straight three-pointers in the fourth quarter to cut the lead to 1. They go back and forth down the stretch. Ends up being with 13 seconds. Northeastern is at the line, up by 2 with a chance to ice the game. Fred Malba, who had a great game, misses both free throws. Eastern gets the rebound. I was sitting right behind their huddle, and the coach says, look, let's go to the hot hand. We're at home. Let's go for the win right now. We have foul trouble. We don't want to play for overtime. Let's go for the win. And the kids were into it. The crowd was going crazy. They're like, yeah, let's do it.
I love that.
So they put the ball in Springer's hands. He shot another 3. As soon as he shot it, you're like, this
good look. Very good look.
You got a good look at it, yeah. And he had some tough looks before that. He was pulling up from 3-4 feet behind the line and just draining it. So the place was going crazy. And as soon as he left his hands, we're like, man, this is not happening. Like he can't hit a 7th 3-pointer or whatever he won now. It ended up rimming out and they lost. But
this running dialogue has made me so jealous that I don't cover the games. I mean, that's just awesome.
It was pretty awesome. Nwandu for Northeastern had a funny quote afterward. He said, "Yeah, I mean, you got to play some close games every now and then. We've been blowing everybody else out. Some close games are good for your team."
But I don't disagree with that statement at all.
Yeah.
Even a loss or two. We've talked about this before. I think during the football season, like, is a loss a bad thing for Hanover? I mean, it's not. And if you blow teams out all the time.
Which was what Northeastern's been doing. They've been beating everybody by 15, 20 points lately.
It's tough. You see a lot of teams get to districts and then not know what to do in that situation.
It happened to West York girls last year. Mm-hmm. They just kept winning and winning and winning and winning, and then they got to district and they lost, and it was like, what do we do? Yeah. I mean, so Northeastern. Your analysis of them at this point, obviously 14-1 record, 10-0 in divisional play. It seems like a very balanced team. People talk about Nando, but Maxfield's had a great year.
Maxfield, the lefty, he had 5 3-points last night. He kind of got overshadowed. Malba, their sophomore, doesn't really score much. More of the distributor and defensive player. Comes out, scores 19 points. Every guy, they're the best team, I think, in the league, especially because they lost to York High, but York High's had its own struggles. They beat Central, which I thought kind of the big thing there. I mean, out of the York Adams has 3 of the top 4 teams in Quad A right now in District 3 rankings right now between Central, Northeastern, and Spring Grove. So we have some pretty good teams, and they've beaten Central.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I'm going with Northeastern. They have 5 guys on the court at all times who can score. It's hard to watch them and try and take notes at the same time because as soon as they they turn a regular rebound into a fast break every time. Yeah. They turn an inbound into a fast break. It's just they play fast. All of them can shoot. They can all score at any point, and they're just more athletic than any other team right now.
I felt like even their loss to York High, they didn't play their best game that night. They dug themselves a really early hole, which obviously will hurt you when you're on the road and you're playing a good team, a seasoned team.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in the area, which speaks even more to what Eastern did last night. But afterward, Eastern says we're not down ourselves. We're proud to be in the situation. We're happy we won 10 in a row. Now we start a new streak tomorrow against Susquehannock. So their mindset's pretty good. They got some scorers on their team too, and they're in a good spot in AAA.
When we're talking about, obviously, the depth of YAIAA this year, what are you guys looking at there? I mean, Central York obviously has been, I'll say, the surprise of the league overall in boys hoops, just 15-2 record, 10-0 mark in division. Not that they're not a good team, but they've just had a great year. I tip my hat to Coach Schuyler and his kids because they've been phenomenal. Northeastern, obviously, their record speaks for itself. York Catholics had a great year on the boys' side. What are you guys expecting here? I guess as the season kind of hits its stretch drive, and of course you have district play. In the not too distant future, we'll really be talking about this a month from now.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Central is definitely, I think, the cream of the crop as well. I think them and Northeastern are kind of at the top. I mean, you got to look at Central's wins, and they're not just beating up on New Oxford or Southwestern. I mean, they beat Cedar Crest and Cedar Cliff and Wilson and Hempfield and York High and Spring Grove twice now. Like, they've beaten. They're
every time I expect them to lose, they don't.
No, I mean, I think I looked at it last week, and out of the 13 wins they had, 11 were against teams with winning records. I mean, the only cupcake so far on their schedule has been a down Southwestern team or a down New Oxford team right now. Spring Grove is pretty good. I mean, their only losses have come to Central so far. I mean, they've only lost to Central. York High is catching the rhythm, and you knew they were going to be there at the end of the year. They just had a rough schedule, so they can all be players. I think in districts. Northeastern, I think, is going to be a player in district for I think all of our teams in Quad A can probably win a game or two. I think an Eastern team is going to play a home game in AAA and maybe win a game. I think after that is kind of a drop off to where Gettysburg is in AAA. And then I think down there, York Catholic and Hanover have a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, I think DeLone Catholic, even though they've had a lot of struggles this season, I think if the playoffs started today, DeLone would still be in. 2A is kind of weak this year, and at least those three teams should make it from the York Adams League. And you never know. All you got to do is make it, and you see what happens from there. Because we know DeLone has the talent. Maybe they get in, maybe they figure things out at the right time.
It's about peaking at the right time.
Right.
The one thing again, I'll be the first one to say I didn't think Central was going to win Spring Grove last weekend.
No,
and they did.
I thought Spring Grove was going to even that series up.
So every time I pick against Central, they win. I'll be the first one to say that. The question is, did they peak early? Like William Penn is playing good now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's key. I think tonight's game is really intriguing. I think before we go to commercial break, what do you guys think about tonight's game going into it? Who do you got?
I still go with Spring Grove. I think York High has been in a rhythm lately, but I'm just not sold on them completely yet.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take Spring Grove too. I mean, they won on the road this time. They'll be back home. I'm sure the environment will be absolutely insane there. It's going to be difficult for William Penn, and so I think it's going to be another great game though. Maybe even another overtime game. We'll see.
I'm going William Penn.
Okay.
You got to balance the panel out a little bit, but aside from that, I think that they're playing well. I think they're kind of hitting their stride a bit.
And one more thing about that group, that tier, is Central and York High went to overtime. York High and Spring Grove went to overtime. Central and Spring Grove played 2 3-point games, so there's a very close gap between the top
evenly matched teams.
Yeah, very evenly matched teams. I mean, you can't look at these teams and definitively really say one's better than the other. It just kind of depends. Anything can happen on any given night, but it'll be a great one. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, follow GameTimePA.com tonight for all the latest news, updates, and analysis from that contest and every single game that was scheduled for Friday, but that's really going down this evening. We'll be back, segment 3, talking girls hoops on Game Day with GameTime PA.
It's a beat the snow battle with big implications for both the league and district playoffs. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me as York High travels to Papertown to take on Spring Grove. Both teams are looking to lock up spots in the county playoffs and improve their standings in the District 3 Quad A bracket. Plus, the Bearcats are looking for payback for Spring Grove's win in the Bearcats' den earlier this season. Spring Grove at York High tonight on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, your home for local sports.
Welcome to WOYK High School Basketball Scoreboard for games from Wednesday, January 20th. Start with Spring Grove and Southwestern. Eliza Kravitz has the report.
Last night at Spring Grove, the Southwestern Mustangs took on the Spring Grove Rockets. Powered by 10 points from Eli Brooks, Spring Grove was up by 3 points at the end of the first quarter. By the end of the half, Spring Grove was up by 16 points, 39-23. In the third quarter, Spring Grove made the gap even bigger, 56-30. Spring Grove won the game with an 18-point lead, 62-44. Reporting for WOYK, I'm Eliza Kravitz.
Central was at Dallastown. Ben Faree reports.
Central Rook survives Dallastown 52-49 to remain unbeaten in league play. Central got off to an early lead, forcing a Dallastown timeout as their defense stifled the Dallastown offense. Dallastown then figured out the Panthers' defense and took a small lead, but the Panthers recovered to take a 5-point halftime lead. Both teams continued to battle in the third quarter, but neither team could gain an advantage. Central was led by Nathan Markey, who finished with 19. Then, with 59 seconds left in the game, Central was holding on to a 2-point lead when Aaron Ward nailed a 3 to give Dallastown a 1-point lead. but Ontario Edmonds answered for the Panthers as he drained the go-ahead three with 36 seconds left in the game. Dowling tried to win the game at the buzzer, but Aaron Ward's three was short. Central survived the upset-minded Wildcats 52-49. Reporting for Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, I'm Ben Free.
West York topped over 64-50 behind 20 from Kenton Meckley and 19 from Darian McCauley. Najee Fink scored 26 for the Eagles in the loss. Northeastern held off Eastern 71-69 on the road despite 6 threes from Evan Springer. Susquehannock won 44-43 at Suburban. Josh Stoneberg had 15, including 4 threes. Trey Shiflett's 23 led York High to an 80-68 win over New Oxford. York Catholic rolled York Tech 7-36. Kyle Kraut scored 20 as Hanover beat DeLone 58-50. That's your scoreboard for games from Wednesday, January 20th.
Did you know that Shipley Energy can take care of all your energy needs? From heating oil and propane to providing your home with electricity and natural gas. We also provide heating and air conditioning service and installation. All of your energy needs are under one roof at Shipley Energy. To learn more, visit ShipleyEnergy.com. Call 855-4-SHIPLEY and don't forget to ask about our $100 rebate. Shipley Energy. Energy for life.
Security in life isn't something you just wish for. You build it with a strong financial plan. Start with Northwestern Mutual. Together, we'll design a disciplined and balanced approach to financial security, because reaching your goals is something we both want to work toward. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on the Square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm West York boys basketball coach Bill Ackerman. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
We're back, Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. You can watch us on the live stream on the GameTime PA live stream, Game Day with GameTime PA Radio. You can listen to us on WOYK from 6 to 7 p.m. Every Thursday, we are rocking and rolling at those times, talking YAIAA sports across the gamut. We talked about basketball uniform issues in segment 1. Segment 2, we talked about high school boys basketball. In segment 3, we are going to talk high school girls basketball, and we are going to start off by talking about DeLone Catholic girls. I know we've spoken about them fairly frequently on the program. Obviously, they have had a very good year. They've won a lot. They've done it, frankly, with a short roster.
Oh, yeah.
They've lost some good players over the years. Where do they stand right now, though, here as we enter late January?
In the district standings, coming into yesterday's game...
Well, they're fine there, I mean...
Oh, Southwestern?
No, I'm talking about DeLone.
Talking about DeLone. Oh, yeah, DeLone's fine there. But they did lose to Southwestern the other day, which was a surprise.
That's
why Southwestern was on my mind.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
And Southwestern did that without one of its starters, too. And so... Yeah, I don't know what's going on with DeLone. They have a big matchup with York Catholic on Friday, so we'll get another look. It's always a good game. Went to overtime the first time around. So, yeah, I think that's a team, though, we talked about peaking too early. I wonder if maybe DeLone, because they played great against York Catholic the first time, and they were playing great going in. I wonder if maybe, though, it's starting to catch up to them having Jill Novak injured.
It could be. The loss of Southwestern... it might be an upset to a certain degree.
Southwestern's not a bad team.
They're not.
They got Guyman and Shipley.
They're not.
They got some talent there.
And they're still a D1 team, and that obviously matters. So, obviously, DeLone facing York Catholic, that'll be a huge game for both teams. And again, it's one of those games you look at and you say, well, I mean, DeLone may have won, or can we definitively say they're better? No, they won in overtime. It came down to free throws late. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a key game. Give us your analysis on Guyman, the freshman at Southwestern.
She's a good player. She can do everything. And, she had a lot of hype coming in. I think she's really lived up to it. She's on, when Brandon puts out those top scorer lists every night, she's almost always on it. And, she does
I don't think Brandon takes her off. I just think he might kind of slide her around. Kind of Devin Duval treatment there.
Yeah, and, she doesn't just score, though. She's usually the tallest player on the floor. She can block. She can get rebounds. She can shoot from long range. She can really do everything. And they have some other good freshmen too. Maddie Wisensale hit 4 threes yesterday. And so some of these girls who've been playing JV that are starting to get some looks at the varsity level because of the short bench that they have.
Yep.
And like they're pretty good players. They're still going to develop, but I'm just thinking they got some good sophomores too. And in a couple years, you keep building that team around Taylor Guyman, and some of these other girls really grow up and get better. That could be a scary team her junior and senior year for sure.
And they're clearly, and even now, they're getting better. 10-8 overall record. Well, I'm sorry, 9-8 overall record. 4-6 in D1 play. So.
And they're trying to get in to the district playoffs. They coming into yesterday's game were a couple spots out. They have a game, should it not get snowed out against New Oxford tomorrow. Tough to go in New Oxford, but if they manage to do that, I would think that would vault them into the top 20. But again, that's a tough place to play. Red Lion barely came out with a win there last week.
The William Penn girls won. They beat New Oxford last night.
And they beat Southwestern last week. William Penn girls are on fire.
And they beat Central 2 weeks ago.
They've been unreal. Now, was the game last night in New Oxford, or was it a home?
I think it was at William Penn.
Think, but even so, 11-7 overall, 5-4, and that win actually put them above New Oxford. I was going to say, and this is actually a good segue, Susquehannock has been incredible surprise in girls hoops this year. Bigger surprise, William Penn or Susquehannock?
William Penn.
Susquehannock came out of nowhere. But William Penn, they've gotten notoriety. They've been so bad that they've gotten notoriety for that. Where Susquehannock, just no one was really talking about them.
Susquehannock went 500 last year, and they brought everyone back. So we thought, okay, maybe they can go from 9-9 or 10-10 to 13.
William Penn's definitely a surprise.
William Penn was 7-15 last year. And
seriously.
And they weren't really competing all that much with Central and New Oxford and these teams that they're beating now, which is awesome. And then I believe Redmond's a freshman. Redmond, who led the league in scoring last night, I believe she's a freshman. And add that to Steele, who's still there, and they got a pretty solid squad.
And like you said, they've beaten Central, they beat New Ox, they battled Red Lion.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable. So that was a huge win. What were you going to say, Zach?
Just that they're on fire. They beat Southwestern last week, and I saw that result, and I was like, Southwestern lost to them. Southwestern lost to Dallastown. Maybe Southwestern's not for real. But then Southwestern turns around and beats DeLone and beats Waynesboro, and so all these teams are pretty good.
You guys are going to have a tough call for Coach of the Year. Obviously Corbin needs to be in the conversation.
Corbin will be up there. Sussie's coach will be up there.
Look at Susky, though. 16-2 overall, 11-0 in D2.
Their only 2 losses are Central. They lost to Central twice in 10 days, and that was it.
They're powering through people.
They beat Suburban twice now.
Huge win over Suburban last night, too. I believe the final score was 61-55, somewhere in that ballpark.
Eckenroth could be up for Coach of the Year, too, dealing with the injuries he's had to deal with and still winning games down there.
Yeah, it depends how well they do in the district playoffs. If they beat York Catholic again on Friday and then make a run in districts, he's definitely going to be in the conversation too, doing it with basically a 5-guard lineup.
No question. They've had a really solid year. Not that I would even I'm not going to put West York into that category, right? Like these teams that we're talking about, DeLone didn't come out of nowhere. They've always been good, but Susky and William Penn definitely. West York was great last year, but they lost Langford and they lost
Wood.
Yes, Emily Wood, the other scorer. I look at them 12-5, 8-2 in division play. So we've had some teams that have had some really solid seasons.
And New Oxford too. You can't forget about them, even though they lost last night. They beat Central Dauphin, I think, or Lower Dauphin. One of those teams that's in the top 10 in the Quad A rankings. New Oxford went on the road and won last week, and then almost beat Red Lion.
And New Oxford still has they have no seniors. Still, because obviously no one's changing years mid-season, but a seniorless team is to do all this.
They've suffered no bad losses either. They really could have beaten Red Lion. They lost by the skin of their teeth in that game and went to overtime.
Yeah, and they were up at halftime by a decent margin, and then Courtney Demoff kind of caught fire, hit a bunch of threes, and Red Lion was able to claw back into it. But they knew, even Red Lion knew leaving the building, that they were kind of lucky to get out of there with a win.
And the first time they played, Long just missed most of the game with foul trouble, and otherwise it probably would have been a closer game.
I want to say they even battled Central York this year. I don't have the scores
right
in front of me, but I don't think they were blowouts.
They made a big comeback, ended up losing by 1. And they lost to 1 by 1 to DeLone. So even the losses they have had have been really, really close losses to really good teams.
I just want to say, at the beginning of the year, I think we all kind of knew Red Lion Central were going to compete. New Oxford was kind of going to be 3. I don't think I would have ever guessed William Penn would be in the top 4, let alone the top 3. That's shocking.
No, you probably would have had Dallastown before William Penn.
We thought we call, in the preview video we called Southwestern kind of a dark horse if Guyman turned into anything and mixed that with Shipley still there. We thought they could be, but none of us had. I didn't even look at their roster really before the season. I was like, they have China Steel and then some other pieces, but they.
I think we should have before the York Adams tournament. We should just have a Division I tournament and just get all those teams in one building and just play a tournament. I think that'd be a blast.
Granted, Dallastown really has been down this year. Ditto with Spring Grove. So hey, you know what? It's kind of like what football division was it this year in YAIA? It was flipped. It was flip-flopped. Like the strong teams were kind of
I think Division 3 where Hanover was leading and Bermudian Springs at one point was 0-4. Yeah, similar situation.
You know, some teams then if you have some traditionally strong teams that find themselves at the bottom, there's going to be a couple teams then that rise to the top. So you're going to see that. We mentioned Central and Red Lion. It kind of coming down to them this year. Red Lion again 9-0 on the year, 17-1 on the year, 9-0 in Division 1 play. So they've had nothing short of an outstanding year.
Yeah, I believe they're number 1 in District 3 Class Quad A too. So we have some number 1 teams all across. And then on the boys' side, Your Country Day is number 1 in Single A. So we have, we're at the top. York Adams is at the top of almost every class right now.
Yeah. We've had some teams with some really strong years. We'll see if they can carry it over into postseason play. That's always a question on the football side of things. We'll see if it shakes out any differently in basketball and we can get some W's under our belt come postseason time. We are going to return for our 4th and final segment. We are going to talk high school wrestling. We are also going to talk, always a hot button issue, the high school football coaching searches as they unfold. You're listening to Game Day with GameTime PA.
People's Bank is happy to announce that you can now find our name in an exciting new place. The home of the York Revolution is now People's Bank Park. People's Bank has been serving York County for more than 150 years, committed to making it a great place to live, work, and play. That commitment continues at People's Bank Park with Revs games, concerts, events, youth sports, and more. We're proud to partner with the York Revolution, and we look forward to seeing you at People's Bank Park. People's Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The puck drops here.
Wellman, the shot, score!
Sports Radio 1350, your home for Hershey Bears hockey.
Casey Wellman has won it in overtime for Hershey.
And the Washington Capitals.
Here in a shot, they score!
Defending the Den and rocking the red all season. Catch the Bears and the Caps on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
It's a Beat the Snow battle with big implications for both the league and district playoffs. I'm Ron Ruman, inviting you to join Andy Bria and me as York High travels to Papertown to take on Spring Grove. Both teams are looking to lock up spots in the county playoffs and improve their standings in the District 3 Quad A bracket. Plus, the Bearcats are looking for payback for Spring Grove's win in the Bearcats' den earlier this season. Spring Grove at York High tonight on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, your home for local sports.
Sports Radio 1350 WOYK honors the Shipley Energy Student Athlete of the Week.
This week, Shipley Energy Boys Student Athlete of the Week is Victor Lopez of Biglerville Wrestling. Lopez got 1 of 6 pins in Biglerville's 63-12 victory over York County Tech on Thursday. His was the quickest of the night, pinning Tech's George Ellenberger in 27 seconds at 220 pounds. And this week's Shipley Energy Girls Student Athlete of the Week is Taylor Funk of Red Lion Basketball. Funk finished with 12 points in Red Lion's 49-33 win over Dallastown on Friday. She scored 10 points in the first quarter alone, helping her team jump out to the early lead and never look back. For Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, I'm Ray Jensen.
Get your home ready for fall and winter and sign up for the Shipley Energy Protection Plan. For more information, visit shipleyenergy.com.
Since 1964, York Area Sports Night has been an honored tradition giving local sports fans, young and old, the chance to meet their sports heroes. To shake a hand, get an autograph, snap a photo, join us on Thursday, February 11th for the 52nd Annual York Area Sports Night held at Heritage Hills Golf Resort and Conference Center. Sponsored by M&T Bank, S&H Express, Shipley Energy, Apple Automotive Group, Gladfelder Insurance, EK McConkey Insurance, RBC Wealth Management, and Sports Radio 1350. Join our great local partners and a host of others with 2016 sponsorships still available, visit YorkSportsNight.com. Guests at this year's event include Jay Paterno, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Hall of Famer Tony Perez, Hall of Fame lineman Bob Lilly, York Revolution pitcher Stephen Penny, and Penn State Lions, including Dallastown's Ben Klein. Get your tickets today. Visit the Orioles store at the York Galleria for tickets to the autograph session. For tickets to the celebrity reception and silent auction, visit YorkSportsNight.com. York Area Sports Night, a York tradition since 1964.
Hi, I'm York High Boys basketball coach Troy Sowers. You're listening to Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
We're back. Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, 6 to 7 on WOYK, 4 to 5 on our GameTime PA live stream. Of course, on GameTimePA.com. We're here every single Thursday talking the latest and greatest YAIAA sports news, notes, and information. And we are going to hop in to segment 4 talking about high school football. And we're going to take it from the top. Greg Bowman, he did a really nice job at Northern York High School last year. He is joining New Oxford. The Colonials take over that program. Zach, you did the story. What's your initial analysis on this hire?
Yeah, I got a chance to meet him. He is a Columbia-educated man who is very, seems like he's very intelligent, very meticulous. And Dr. Greenhold, the superintendent at New Oxford, who was a very successful coach at Bermudian Springs, back in the 90s and maybe early 2000s. I don't remember exactly what years, but he's in the Adams County Sports Hall of Fame, so he knows a thing or two about football. He got a chance to look at Bowman's playbook and said it's really thorough. He's really impressed by it. So, I mean, that definitely counts for something.
He joins Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Ivy League education.
Yeah. And what'll be interesting, though, is so he was planning to meet with New Oxford assistants this week. One of those assistants is Jason Warner, who coached the team last season. So I don't know. I just think it'll be interesting to see how the players respond, to having their previous coach now back as an assistant, assuming that Warner stays with the program, which I think he will because he's a teacher in the district. But I think that might be
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it's just a little awkward, I feel like,
I feel like that.
So I think that might be the biggest challenge to navigate is getting the team to buy in. And part of that's going to be on Warner, because I'm sure from what I understand, there's a bunch of players who really wanted him to be the head coach. And so, part of it, I think, falls on Warner to encourage his guys to buy into what Bowman is bringing to the table. And so, I think that's going to just be the biggest challenge for him. And New Oxford is a little bit on the upswing. I mean, they were 0-10 in 2014, so couldn't really go further down.
They grabbed 3 wins last year?
2. But a big win against Bermudian Springs to start the year and then beat William Penn.
It's funny. I mean, when you're talking about 2 or 3 wins, that actually sounds like a big difference. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and we saw, I don't think Northern York was especially good before Bowman got there.
They went from 3-7 record to a 7-3 record, and then they won a game in districts
and a
against
playoff
Suburban.
win. Yeah, so
this is a good grab for New
And
Oxford.
Bowman's an assistant.
Definitely.
He was an assistant to Livingston at Central. He was an assistant to Rob Clark at Lower Dauphin, and Livingston and Rob Clark both were very, very successful coaches. And so clearly whatever he took from them and brought to the table as a head coach works. So, there's definitely reason for optimism at New Oxford, I think.
They had a very good running back who really came on late in the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Furious?
Yes.
Furious Ashford?
Yes, great name.
Great name. Looking forward to covering more of him.
That'll be interesting. Okay, so Bowman is at New Ox, and I know Zach, again, worked on that story, and then Brandon updated us on some other YAIAA coaching search, news and notes this past weekend. Obviously, William Penn, their AD list, so that kind of hurts in terms of trying to find a new football coach, does it not?
Yeah, they let go of Quixote, who's been in some kind of form or capacity around the sports program for 47 years. Last week, they let him go. They said they want to go in a different direction. They're trying to, kind of clean house and infuse some youth in there. So they let go of him, and they might have a new hire. It was expected to be tonight, approved at the board meeting tonight. I'll go over there tonight and check it out, see what we got. But yeah, you would assume that the AD has to come first, and then the coach. You got to go for the top bottom. Yeah, At Central, we got the update from Trimmer over there. They said the position's still open until tomorrow, and then they go through and pick applicants to do 2 rounds of interviews with each one. He says and then it has to go to the super and get it approved by the board. He says probably get approved at the board meeting, most likely the March one, maybe February, but most likely the March meeting. So Central might not have a coach until St. Patrick's Day.
That's unbelievable. What's your gut feeling on that?
Who I think going to be, or
yeah, I mean, obviously we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention. We've heard the name Ron Miller out there, for instance. We've heard maybe Nortega. I mean, you're going to hear names in our position. It's all speculation. But
yeah, it's all speculation. But it's a big school. It's a big school that has pretty good money now, or maybe not right now because the state doesn't have a budget. But normally it's a school with a pretty good amount of money, so they can offer to pay a coach.
It's a good job.
It's a good job to have. So I think that's why people speculate, think someone like Ortega, who went from York High and did well, to Coatesville did well, maybe comes back to the area. Or Ron Miller, who's been out of coaching for a year after doing really well at West York, might want to come back and take that spot.
It's only natural.
So those 2 names have definitely been swirling. They could also go with they pretty much cleaned house of assistants, so it's not going to be somebody in-house. It's going to be somebody outside. Those are the 2 biggest names, but they can go somebody completely out of the blue that we've never heard of before as well, so we'll see.
And what other schools are still looking for coaches? Eastern is coachless at the moment, right?
Eastern's coachless. York Tech is coachless.
Is Kennerdale?
I think Kennerdale hired one, but they did it pretty quietly. They removed an interim tag from one of their guys, I believe.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Were they the school with the co-head coaches?
Yeah, they went with Up to Grove, I think is one, and Grube is the other one. And I think they went with one of the 2, just kind of removed the interim tag.
They felt a little improved last year, although
they did well. Yeah,
no,
I think they ended up with 3 wins as well after going 1 win the year before.
And at least, I'll always say, if you're not going to win a lot, at least be entertaining. They seem to have some games where they put some points on the board. That means something.
Yeah, a lot of high-scoring games.
I mean, if you're going to lose, at least have the common decency to put some points on the scoreboard.
Eastern wouldn't be a bad job either. Eastern's best players were pretty much all sophomores and juniors. They've got a young, talented squad coming up. They remind me of like what Southwestern was like last year, the year before, where you're like, wow, like their best players are all young coming up together.
No question. Eastern, you can say this about any team. The injuries are going to happen in football, but they were a team that really relied on the ground game and their defense, and they really lost their key running back. So I mean, we could have had a different conversation. They were a team that made districts the year before. We could have been having a different conversation about them this year if they stayed healthy, kind of at their key core spots. I thought actually Coach Kemick did a pretty nice job there overall. I want to say he had an 11-10 overall record there, around there. I mean, it wasn't he didn't just bomb. I mean, like that.
No, he improved the team his first year, then they struggled into this year, and then he was let go. So that's also another intriguing opening, and who knows what happens there. Livingston also, when he left, said he still wants to coach, so maybe he's available for one of these other jobs, such as an Eastern one. Mm-hmm. We thought maybe a New Oxford one before they went with Bowman, which is a great grab for them. Bowman was great at Northern.
All right, we have a couple minutes left, and we can go one of 2 ways here. We can either talk high school basketball uniform policy, or we can talk high school wrestling.
Let me give like a 30-second.
I think you should, because you wrote the story.
And then let's go right to
Zach and I already explained the high school basketball thing.
Yeah, you get your take in. They've already heard ours.
Okay, did you guys explain what the ruling is then? It's not a new rule.
I think you should actually explain what it is.
I think you probably could bring some clarity, because I think we confused the listeners.
Yeah, I would agree.
People were upset this week because apparently the referees this week were told to enforce this rule more. It's not a new rule. It's an old rule that just wasn't popular because it wasn't really necessary. Because before, kids were wearing the shorts, below their knees. It was the Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson look. Now kids are saying that's uncomfortable, and from NBA, college, and high school, it's coming a little bit shorter now above the knees. So what they're doing is rolling them up at the waistband to pull the shorts above their knees so they can run faster. It's more comfortable. Talk to boys players and girls players, and they both said the same thing.
So they can run faster.
Okay, yeah, we definitely didn't bring that up.
Go ahead.
They say they run faster and it's more comfortable. They don't like having the shorts rubbing on their knees during the game. So they roll them up at the waistband. It's been a new thing this year. But you're not allowed to do that because you can't show a second logo. It's a national rule. You can't show a second logo. So
there's a second logo on the inside of these shorts? Is that what's happening? Like an Adidas or a Reebok type of thing?
Okay. So most shorts already have a logo on the outside. And if that's the case, a second one is usually on a tag on the inside. You can't have that tag or logo showing. So rolling your shorts down would show that. You also can't have the drawstrings out, which rolling your shorts down at the waistband would do that as well. The drawstrings is a safety issue, just a wristband. They don't want a hand or a leg getting caught in there and something crazy happening. So that's the thing. The only new rule was the leg sleeves. Leg sleeves can't be 3/4 anymore. You can't just have them to the calf. Some kids were wearing them there. Leg sleeves, most people say, are either a fashion statement or they keep the muscles warm so you don't cramp up, basically.
Well, I was also saying to Teddy, the ones with the knee pads, or a lot of girls are wearing them to avoid getting bruising and stuff when they're hitting the ground and going up for rebounds and stuff.
Yeah. And the coloring is weird now too. You have to be a solid white, solid black, solid beige, or team color, and all the players in the team have to match there. So it's a very weird rule. Overall, though, I didn't find a player that was happy with it. Everyone's pretty irritated with it.
Well, I mean, no one wants to be told what to do.
Sure.
You know.
But I don't really know why anyone would be happy with, like if you're told, oh, you can't do that, like who's going to say like, I'm really glad they told me I can't do that. That's never going to happen.
I will say this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this at all, but in pro basketball, and I could see this filtering down the high school level, kind of the in vogue thing right now is to wear these very colorful socks. There's like these funky socks that the players.
Spring Grove does it. The Spring Grove does it with their shoes. Like all Spring Grove players have neon shoes.
See? This is gonna come.
Yeah, I have a feeling. And if someone starts wearing socks, then the next thing will be you can't wear. Everyone has to wear the same color socks or something.
There was a period of time in basketball where it was like really cool, like to actually wear your shorts really low. Yeah. So I guess that's gone out the window.
Yeah, that's
now.
like our generation.
Yeah,
like
everyone in our we wanted like the Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan. We wanted the long ones.
Yeah,
like,
shorts like couldn't be long enough.
Yeah.
Now it's the opposite. Now I noticed it early in the year because there was a player from Dallastown that was wearing them so high that it almost seemed like whatever you had underneath, like compression shorts or boxers were going to come out at that point. Like they rolled them up so far. Yeah. Like and
see, I don't know if I want like
someone
the 80s
looks like
look
John
to come back.
Stockton.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I want
close.
that.
Yeah, the kids are wearing. They're rolling them. They say it's more comfortable. They make them. And the girls were saying, like I talked to a DeLone player, and she says that they make their shorts so long that they're almost like wearing like pants. They feel like when they don't roll up at least a little bit.
Yeah, see, I think the issue is they just need to make shorts that fit better.
Yeah,
I think that would kind of solve that.
That would solve that whole issue.
Uniforms that fit would be a step forward.
It would step forward. We have time for wrestling talk.
No, Ray's saying we don't.
Oh, all right.
Well, I'll be covering Dallastown at Southwestern tonight. You can follow me on Twitter. That's the wrestling talk for today.
Follow Zach on Twitter and for wrestling, and I know the latest power rankings are up on GameTime PA, so you can check those out.
For wrestling?
Yep.
Nice.
Guys, it was great. It's always great. We'll be back at it next week as well. Game Day with GameTime PA here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
First in York, first in sports. Your only local sports station. The new Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, York, Pennsylvania.